I'm Esaú Acosta from Studio SIC, an office of three partners, Mauro Gilfournier, Miguel Heineken and me. In terms of 3 or 4 years ago, we didn't know anything about that, but now, maybe due to some competition there, or maybe due to some interesting offices there, the most well-known, Nirik and Nirik or Perovic, we see that ex-Yugoslavian people or Serbian people or Croatian people are doing very interesting architecture. And we also see from Spain that the way to think the city it's very similar as how Spanish people think. Maybe it's because of the Mediterranean culture or something like that. So it's a good area to see as a mirror to get also ideas and process, because that area, I think it has not a big industry, technology industry like Spain. So what do we see if we see one interesting building? Sometimes we recognize that building could be built in Spain also. So sometimes people are very interested in that. Also, last year we were teaching at the exam, and we see how a lot of students start to talk about Serbian or Croatian architects, maybe because of croquis or maybe the magazines. But it's quite interesting to not only talk about the same countries in terms of architecture. Because during the big period, the development period, everyone was focused to try to be published in those magazines. But later on, you see that those magazines are only a product for architects. So if you want to get more work, maybe it's much better to be published in other magazines, maybe other more popular magazines. So now we are more focused, trying to not only be represented by magazines like Detail or AV, Spanish, and trying to make more closer, interesting architectural works to singular people. I mean, people that are not used to understand the architecture. And one of the best ways is to be publicated there. Trying to, it's like if you try to make a hack, if you try to be a hacker of those magazines, try to introduce there. I think good architecture, not because of the product, but yes, because of how much time you develop in it, how much care you take on it. And I think that the last two years we are more focused on that in popular magazines. Next step is Europe.
Europe.
No, next step is trying to think a little bit more about not about only Spain, and trying to make something like a network in Europe, because I think offices like us are very tiny, and we think it's much better to work trying to build something like a good network where people could share good ideas and efforts, because there are many young, interesting architects all over Europe, and we have to make some big effort to pass the crisis and to create something interesting.
Okay. Okay.
And I think we are thinking to not trying to go abroad. We are thinking to resist here in Spain as much as we can, because if we think that the situation is bad, it's much better to fight inside of the situation and trying to not escape all the time and trying to go out and wait until the situation changes and after come back. I know that this is easy to say and hard to do, but for the moment we are trying to make our organization or our structure as flexible as we can, trying to assimilate every bad situation in the best way. So our future is Spain and our future is Madrid, and trying to be strong here, but always as a tiny office.
Okay.
We don't want to be more than a garage office or an atelier office.